or replace the item free of charge. They always guarantee their products. Whether you're looking to buy deck and card boxes, dice vaults, hero vaults, dice towers, personal or tabletop dice trays, or some other accessories such as card sleeves, dice, tile trackers, leather play mats, or more, this company is top of the line. They even do custom orders. They call the wood that they use Core 16, and I encourage you to go to their website for more information on this. So when you are in the market for tabletop or nerd gaming needs, think Wormwood first. And remember, when you go to wormwoodgaming.com and order your Wormwood stuff, use checkout code BROS to get free domestic shipping. If you guys didn't know, we're live. And before you ask, Jason, yes, I unmuted the damn thing.
Huh. It's about time you remember to do it beforehand.
Welcome down to Stripping Down D&D, where we teach everybody around that we don't even know what the hell we're doing. With me, as always, is Sweet.
Hey, guys.
And Jason.
And the number one fan.
And his number one fan. And I just made it so that everybody, these two, can see the chat for what's going on. 600 and something people saw this, so we might get 5 viewers. That's the commercial. Setting up my phone to talk to y'all. So a couple exciting things are happening at Bros and Dragons Incorporated. I'd like to start off with, I can't say anything, but keep your ears open. Watch for things, particularly links that are coming out for things that might be for sale for things.
Sale things.
Yeah, I know. Stuff. And we are consumers, so this will be great.
Stuff and things, people. Stuff and things.
For those of you that don't know, we have a dice bag that's available to buy at Bros and Dragons. Oh, hey, look, Sweet said something. For Bros and Dragons, you can head over to our group. It is an open group. Just join, or our page, and just scroll through. You can see the dice bags. I use it, not because I own the company and it was free for me, which is a lie because I bought them all originally. But because it holds 300 plus, I have 323 dice or something like that. I counted them the other day. I get bored easy. Don't ask. And all of them fit into that bag, and there's still some room in there. It is a double-layered bag with metal eyelets, very thick nylon strings. I've had mine now coming up on a year, and you can't even tell it's frayed. It has the Bros and Dragons podcast thing on it, and we only sell it for $30. So,
if you ever get bored, I got a set of dice here for you.
I'm never that bored.
They're Rochambeau dice.
I am never that bored.
You can play rock, paper, scissors with yourself.
No, because I saw what happened the last time you played with scissors with yourself. It didn't end up really well.
You win at something, right?
At least you win at something. You have to kick yourself in the nuts. I still haven't been able to pull that one off. All right. So tonight we're going to get into a little bit of casters, but I think I'd start off with a little bit of information that maybe a lot of people are asking on email, so I figure I'd share it. Thanks for everybody who watched this on YouTube, because where I get a lot of my emails from. So if you wonder why we do this for 3 or 4 people, because it ends up on YouTube and then hundreds of people watch it or whatever. And then I get these emails. So one of the biggest questions that I get is how to create a homebrew. I don't know why you guys are asking me, but I think you picked the right guy. And here's why. Homebrews suck because a lot of time when we make our homebrews, we want to make them super powerful, but we don't want to put limitations on them. The number one thing for homebrews to make a homebrew good is for the homebrew to have balance. I know that when people do their character sheets and they follow the rules and they go through all the bonds and personality traits, everybody doesn't know how, Horizon, doesn't understand the flaws. They never could pick the right flaw for some reason. And that's because we always want our characters to be super powerful. If you remember that when you're building a homebrew, you'll be able to design something that you would have a lot of fun with, and that isn't so overpowered that your DM is either going to burn your sheets or send a huge monster just to kill you. So when doing a homebrew, you got to look it over, understand what you're trying to make. Because you saw an anime once does not mean you have enough information to build a homebrew based on that anime. So number two thing for building a homebrew is to have an idea where you want that to go and play test it. And don't be afraid when somebody says, "Wow, that's super overpowered." Just switch it up a little bit. It's not that hard. So that was my little bit of information for homebrew. You could reach me at brosendragons at gmail.com. Send me any of those or hit me up with a Twitter at right here at IamDMDoc. And we can discuss that if your homebrew is a little too strong. I have built many of them, and the funny part about that is, as Jason can attest to, I don't play a lot of homebrew. I really dig the core classes and core races because I do all that other stuff, and it gets me out of the realm, and I just come back to the basis as we all do. Which is why Dungeons and Dragons is blowing up in the United States right now, and people are playing a lot more tabletop 20-sided dice games such as Dungeons and Dragons because they played it 20 years ago, haven't played it since, and now want to play it again. And that's my spiel. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Oh, we can
I was
talk now.
I was typing in there that I do play a lot of homebrew, but I do make sure that whatever races or classes I get are balanced, and it takes a lot to to think about how this would affect the game, and like having a character that can walk through walls, probably a little OP. But thinking about thinking about how things could interact with the game.
WC is in there. He says, not a fan of homebrews. I get it, man. And trust me, I do. I love homebrews. And like Sweet, I like to play a lot of them, especially when newer ones come out. But the first thing I do is sit down with the DM and sit down and nerf my character right away. Because now I can read the homebrew and be like, okay, that's going to make me overpowered. That's going to make me overpowered. Or my favorite is you're super powered at levels 1 through 5, and then at 6, everybody else just starts beating you out.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to learn to balance it. It goes in both directions. Tonight, though, we are talking about spellcasters. And we are going to try to fly through the 3 top spellcasting classes.
Should be fairly simple to do. They have a lot in common.
And a lot that's not.
So, the 3 spellcasters that we're going to be covering tonight are Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizard. They are all arcane spellcasters, as opposed to the Druid, the Cleric, Paladin, where they're divine spellcasters. But I think we'll jump in and start on the Sorcerer first.
Absolutely. So picture this. A 5'4", 120-pound female walks into a battlefield. It stops all the fighters around her. She throws back her cowl. She looks at everybody and begins to laugh. She does not have to pull out a spell book. She doesn't have to ready many spells, per se, because she draws her energy from the magics around her. She can use that magics to manipulate spells, to make them do things that they have never done before, as she uses raw power like a Sith, which is a sorcerer.
A Sith or a Scythe? Moving on.
A little bit of both. So let's hit the stuff that's always going to be the same with these 3 classes. 1, if you read the spellcasting thing, a lot of that's going to be really simpler. There's cantrips, level 0s, right? We know, everybody knows that. That means, cast them all day long, as long as it's within their reaction time and or their cast time, you could cast them and within those events. Things that they are going to have in common are going to be how do you find your DC and your attack modifiers. Sorcerer gimmick is pretty cool. It is. I love the sorcerer points. We're going to talk about that. Most of them for your DC, it's 8 plus your proficiency plus whatever your spellcasting modifier is. With warlocks and sorcerers, it's going to be your charisma. But we're talking about sorcerers, so we'll just stick with charisma. And so those are easy to find. 8 plus your proficiency at level 1, it'll be 2. That makes it 10. And then you add your charisma modifier, which is usually anywhere between 2 and 5 at that point. Hopefully not 5. That means that you're cheating like a son of a bitch.
Or Doc.
I do not cheat. I like my characters to die. I'm the different kind of player because I don't give a shit. I have 50 more rolled ready to go. But we're going to get into a little bit more of this. Now, sorcerers. Every single class has X amount of spell slots. You get more spell slots as you go, which open up new levels. Yada, 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 yada. Warlock is going to be an exception to most of these rules as we get to them, but that's because Warlocks are super overpowered and nobody should ever play them. Having said that...
I didn't hear that.
Actually, I'm going to help you tonight learn how Warlocks aren't super powerful and how DMs have been missing a lot of roleplay and a lot of circumstance within their own self when they have Warlocks in their party. Yeah, the 1d6 hit dice, blah, 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 blah. But I never look at hit dice, people. I don't. I don't know why people do that. And I don't even go through those realms. The one thing that a sorcerer has that starts off that no other ones do is the way they do their origin is through raw power, like I was talking about earlier. They tear magic from fabric of magics. They pull from the font, if you will. If you think about it, somebody drinking water, if somebody's using a straw, they're sucking the water out of the cup, where if somebody's drinking from the cup without the straw, they're letting the water fall into their mouth. That's going to be your difference between sorcerers and wizards. Does anybody disagree with me?
No. Sorcerers are raw magic, whereas a wizard and warlock, they gain their magic through study or through gift.
Yes. And Warlocks is both. Both.
Yeah.
Both. All right. So, at second level, the big time the sorcerer really comes out, they get that font of magic. Does anybody know about that?
The font of magic, that's when you get your sorcery points, and it allows you to spend points to create your own spell slots.
Yes. Part of the reason for your spell points is creating spell slots.
Yes.
But it does more than that. Muhaha. But yes, you're absolutely correct. The font of magic, or quote-unquote sorcery points. That is X amount of points that a sorcerer has. I can't remember the breakdown on that one. I think you just get assigned them, right?
It starts 2 points.
Yeah.
It's 1 point per level, starting at level 2.
There you go. So, you have these spell points. And like Jason said, that you could use these spell points to break down and create spell slots. What that means is if you run out of spell slots, starting at 5th level down, there's no such thing as creating a 6th level spell slot. 7 sorcerer points will open up a 5th level spell slot for you. Literally using the magic from whatever you're gaining it from that font, you rip it, you break it down, you create it, you make it your own, and when you do that, you open up another spell slot. Or another way to look at that, because I know that kind of confuses people, is magical energies. When you run out of spell slots, you don't just like run out of spell slots, you become super tired. You took away from the magical energies that you have. And Sweet, jump in at any time. I feel bad you're not talking.
Oh, I know nothing about sorcerers. It's the warlocks that I love.
All right, we'll get there.
And, I'm talking way too much during that, so my time is coming.
But yes, it breaks down 7 down. So at level 5, it takes 7 points to create a slot. At level 4, it takes 6. Level 3, it takes 5, etc., all the way down to first level. Once you have those spell slots, and you go a whole level doing that, depending on how your DM does levels, it may take a little bit. But once you do that, that is learning how to create spell points. Another point that people forget is that you can actually use your spell slots to create sorcerer points.
Yep.
You know how that works?
It's the exact opposite. Up to 5th level, for whatever level you use to generate your points, you get that many points. So at 5th level, you'll get a 5th level slot. You'll get 7 points back, and down the chart.
There you go.
Exact opposite. Instead of using your points to create a spell slot, you use your spell slot to create points.
There's a real big reason for this, but it doesn't happen at second level. Unless you're trying to gain another 5th level spell slot, then it comes into play. So we talk about these things, and at second level, you don't have that 5th level spell slot. What I mean is to create a higher spell slot, using your level 1s to get yourself another level 2. When you get into meta magics, that's when things are going to change, and that's at 3rd level. Yep. So I love how you always say yes. Yep. These are the abilities, and I have to find them because you know how they do it. They say it, and then like a long time later, they do it differently in these. Okay, so you can choose at 3rd level meta magics. Now, here's one other question that I see a lot: when you have meta magics, you don't get them all.
No.
You literally have to pick them, and once you pick them, you're stuck with them.
Yep.
So there's no switching them out. Now, if you're a DM like me, if you don't like them after a session, you come talk to me after the session as a DM. I don't mind as long as you're 5th level or less. We can switch them around because I want you to be happy with your character. My thing is, though, at 5th level, if you're not happy with your character, we should have talked about this way beforehand, and I should have heard a lot more from you than all of a sudden I don't like my character. Mostly because you were reading about the rogue and you really wanted to be a rogue.
Yeah.
So when you cast a spell, you can only use one of the meta magics that you choose. But at the very beginning, at 3rd level, you're going to choose 2 of these, okay? And I think you only get like 1 more at 17th level or something. I don't remember, but I'll read that again. All right. Careful spell. When you cast a spell that forces other creatures to make a saving throw, you can protect some of those creatures. Why is this important? Because everybody likes to cast fireballs. Let me say that again. Because everybody likes to cast fireballs. It's not just fireballs. It's anything that would hit somebody in that area. You can actually give them a chance to make it. Now, does that stop them from taking damage? No, you just guarantee they're taking half damage. Sorry, people. I didn't write it. I just play it. Distance spell. When you cast a spell that has a range of 5 feet or greater, you can spend 1 sorcery point, double that range. So if it can only go 50 feet, bam, you could do it at 100. Thank you for looking that up for me, sweet. It is 10 and 17. So you have 4 total, which there's more than 4. Empowered spell. When you roll damage for a spell, you can spend 1 sorcery point to re-roll a number of the damage dice up to your charisma modifier. Minimum of 1.
And that is one... the one that you can double up with. So you can use that meta magic feat along with another.
Yes.
On the same spell.
It even says in there, because we know that there's raw and exceptions override the rules as written. The exception to this one literally says you can use empowered spell even if you've already used a different meta magic option during the casting of the spell. Extended spell. Basically, if something lasts for 1 minute or longer, you can make it last twice as much, up to 24 hours. We are getting to the wild magic. I love the wild magic sorcerers, too. We have done a lot with those wild magic sorcerers as table rules, too, which I'll explain. Because you can have a lot of fun, even if you don't have a sorcerer in your party. Heightened spell. Again, this one's a little bit more. You can spend 3 sorcery points to do this. But whoever you're targeting, if they have to roll against your spell, they have disadvantage on that roll. Quicken spell. I don't understand why people don't have this. But anyways, you could take something that is 1 action and make it a bonus action. So, let's say that you're using a fireball spell, because that's everybody's spell, and you didn't have to do careful spell, because finally, not all the warriors decided to jump up in your grill right before you throw out the fireball. I understand. You don't understand that I understand. They should stay out of it until you get that fireball. If they know it's coming, it should never be a surprise to them.
You know what? If I'm ever playing a sorcerer or a wizard or even a warlock, fiend warlock, if I'm casting fireball and those idiots decide to go charging in, guess what? They deserve to get hit.
So what happens is you cast that 1 fireball, and then that's a full round action. But now you can spend sorcery points, and now you have a bonus action spell, and that means you can cast fireball again.
Yeah.
Or any other spell that meets those requirements is 1 action. That is a requirement. Subtle spell. If you don't take this, I would actually ask you why. Because you can cast a spell without actually outwardly saying. Now, when you cast a spell and it has a verbal component, I've had a lot of people do this. I kind of want to whisper it. Well, guess what? It's not how it works.
Yeah.
When you're casting a spell and you do the abracadabra, pokey mokey, stick it in her pokey, you're saying it out loud.
Yes.
And that is an official spell phrase, just so you know.
Thank you. It warms up to
That's
what is lovingly known as the shocker spell. That's all I'm saying.
AKA Finger of Death.
And then, of course, there's Twin Spell. Twin Spell, and I'll give you the tip on this one. It has to be a spell that only targets one person.
Yep.
So for a while there, I was in a group. We were all messing up. It was my fault. It was right around 5e first came out. And you know most DMs, we know what we're doing, so we don't really need to read the rules, so we skim them. And we twin spells, and I think it was, I don't know, 6 months later, that somebody finally mentioned, I was reading that twin spell thing.
Yeah.
Good times, because I don't go back and reread those things, because, gosh darn it, I'm the DM, I know it all. Go ahead, Sweet.
It's one creature, and it can't be a range of self.
Right. It has to target another creature.
That's what I mean. You have to target one creature, and Sweet's right. You can't. It's not the one creature can't be you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It can be a touch spell, though.
Yeah. I make people, when it's a touch spell, tell me where they're touching them.
I know.
So that brings us through the meta magic stuff. And guess what? Pretty much there's only 2 other things as sorcerers besides their subclasses. So the ability score improvement, which everybody gets, and then Sorcerer's Restoration. Now, this happens at 20th level, which I will say again, if you're playing at level 20, your character's a fucking idiot, should have retired, because gosh darn it, they were going down to undefeated at level 15. It's time just to make a good life for yourself. Adventuring's a young man's game. That's what I'm saying,
That's why you don't do it, right, Doc?
Wow.
You stick to the DM.
Yeah. You and I are going to talk offline about how your character's dying at Minkoya on Sunday. All right.
That's fine. I've got, like you said, I've got 50 characters waiting to replace them too.
So at level 20, you can expend 4 of your sorcerer points, and it's like taking a short rest, except for getting sorcery points back.
Yep.
Now, the book doesn't say that, but I'll tell you why it's played like that. Because you had to expend the sorcery points to do it, doesn't mean you get your sorcery points back. And I don't remember, how do you get... Is sorcery points a long rest or a short rest?
Long.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
No, you're not. Because you just looked over at your book.
The Sorcerer's Restoration at 20 is a short rest. The sorcery points, the main pool of sorcery points, though, is long rest.
When you finish a long rest. Thank you. So let's get into the origins. Hey, Sweet, I just want you to get involved. So crack open your player's handbook. Go to Draconic Bloodlines and give us a breakdown of that.
All right. Well, I had my book open and I closed it.
102. I'm going to help you get to it fast.
102? Okay. All right.
I would also like to say while she's looking it up, Mazapena!
All right, so,
Oh, sorry.
So what am I doing?
Tell us about Draconic Bloodline sorcerers.
All right. Let's see.
Can anybody guess without reading where your power comes from?
Ooh, I know.
Sweet, go ahead. I see your hand up.
Draconic Bloodline. Well, from Dragon Ancestors.
It literally the dragon blood in your blood. You're drawing the magic from yourself.
At some point in your life, one of your ancestors porked a dragon.
Or got porked by a dragon.
Yeah, I mean, because they could have polymorphed themselves and been like, my name is Fabio. And that was that.
So, it's a guy thought, and I just had it. When you polymorph to do that, can you unpolymorph certain areas without unpolymorphing everything?
No.
Because I would be a greedy-ass dragon. I would find a way.
An ancient dragon polymorphed into a halfling that unpolymorphs that certain area,
Dick.
walks around with like 5 carts in front of him carrying.
Yeah. I'm just saying, man, that'd be the ultimate experience for her. It'll be the last experience for her, but it would still be the ultimate experience for her.
Whoa. Yeah. Okay. I did not need that thought. Thank you very much.
Mind blown is right, because that money shot, head gone.
Oh God. Yeah.
I'm gonna make one of my ancient dragons brag about how it money shot at a whole village.
Did we mention that this is an adult podcast, by the way?
Everything that we have says rated R. If people aren't paying attention, that's not my fault.
All right. So at first level, you choose one type of dragon as your ancestor. The damage type associated with each dragon is used by the features you gain later. You can also speak, read, and write Draconic. All right. And whenever you make a charisma check, when interacting with dragons, your proficiency bonus is doubled. It applies to the check.
Yes,
So the
it's like expertise. I just want to explain it. It's like having expertise on that one particular thing from Rogues, if you remember expertise.
Cloud, no Cloud. All right. Let's see. So if you take a black dragon, the damage type is acid. Blue is lightning. Brass is fire.
And then,
Bronze.
well, you don't have to go through them all. So it's acid, lightning, fire, poison, and cold, and they mix them up.
But I wanted to go through them.
I know you did,
Okay.
but we're trying to do 3 tonight.
All right. So it's on page 102, guys.
All right, Draconic Resilience. What's that? Sweet.
Oh goodness gracious. Okay. Let's see.
You really want me to take over so you can just talk all the way through Warlock?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me help.
Part of having this bloodline, and by the way, I just want to be really specific, DMs and players alike. This is a very rare sorcerer.
Yeah.
Okay, this doesn't happen every generation. This happens every 100th generation. Okay, that's just the way the mythology is written, and it's for a reason. And I'm not saying you can't play it, but if this character dies, please don't come back to me as a DM and tell me you want to build another one. It's just how it is. I'm sorry. It's just how it is. Please run with some of the mythology, because if you change all the mythology for your game, you're not playing D&D.
Right.
If you fuck with the world, especially if you're playing in a world that's not created, a homebrew world, then you're really just screwing everything up. What is that?
That was me. I was getting this Skype call.
Apparently so.
Getting down with your bad funky self. I was like, I don't even have Skype open. What's going on here?
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Elemental Affinity. When you cast a spell that deals damage associated with your draconic type, you add your charisma modifier to that attack. Pew, 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 pew. You are not immune to your own type of poison unless you spend a spell slot, which we will get to. Pew, 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 pew. Picking a draconic bloodline, there is nothing in here that says you're going to be immune or resistant to that type of damage. You actually have to cast a spell with that type of damage, like poison, and spend 1 spell point to be resistant to it. But you are never immune. Never immune. Who told you that? Bad, evil people. I might be wrong. I think I just play it that way because I'm sick and tired of everybody being a Dragonborn draconic bloodline, and they have like 2 resistances.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you do get resistance to your.
I'm reading because I can be wrong. Routine is not boring. People that search out the quote-unquote uncommon there, WC, are looking to metagame in different ways. We can argue that at a different later date. I'll have a whole stripping down D&D where you and I can get on here and just argue.
Ouch. You wound me. Moving on.
First level, you choose the ancestry. The damage type associated with each dragon is used for the features you gain later. You can speak, read, write, and Draconic. Additionally, when you make a charisma check when interacting with dragons, your proficiency bonus doubled if it applies to the check, period. That is it about Draconic bloodlines, people. I am sorry. What? I know, I hear you, little guy.
time.
So if anybody can find that to prove me wrong, I would appreciate it. But I literally just read the Dragon Ancestry, and it says nothing about having resistance.
Let's see.
Just an elemental affinity where you can spend the sorcery point to get resistance.
Thank you. That is true. You can spend a sorcery point after casting a spell that includes that element in it to be resistant to that element. Yes. See?
But it is only the element that is related to your specific bloodline. And it's only an hour.
Is that the Infinity one? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, because, okay, so starting at 6th level, we'll get there. When you cast a spell that deals damage to the type associated with your Draconic Ancestry, you're right, and mostly because all of us that choose that Ancestry, we load up on those spells. Fuck the other ones. What do you need them for? You add your Charisma modifier to 1 damage roll of that spell. At the same time, you can spend 1 sorcery point to gain resistance to that damage. Resistance up to 1 hour. We skipped over resilience. Resilience, part of your Draconic bloodline, adapts your skin. I like to play it when I do this, as in I have magical scales, but you can't see them unless I experience one emotion. I pick that emotion, and when the emotion comes up, the DM and I have already decided on a DC for a perception check to see it, and you might be able to see it. But what it does is, instead of your AC without armor being 10 plus your dex, it becomes 13 plus your dex. So that's really helpful too. We will get to that later because people take spells that they can't use while they're wearing armor thinking that they can, and we'll explain why when it comes down to that. All right.
Essentially what it does is it gives you a free mage armor.
Pretty much, yes. Plus 3. 14th level, the reason that all DMs hate this particularly is because you get dragon wings and you can fly. Because nobody should be able to fly. That's stupid.
Yeah, not unless they're spinning spell slots.
What are you, a right brother? And Draconic Presence at 18th level, you can channel the dread presence of your dragon ancestry, causing those around you to become awestruck or frightened at 18th level. Unless you want to be a fallen angel Draconic bloodline. That'd be cool. I know what I'm making offline.
Fallen ASMR Draconic bloodline.
Yeah, Fallen Azamar, not Asamar. Azamar.
ASMR, Ishmir.
All right, just for that, you're doing wild magic, son of a...
Okay.
So we're at wild magic, Jason.
Oh, hey, we're at Wild Magic. Wild Magic, your bloodline or your sorceress abilities come from the raw magic of the world. That's essentially, I mean, that's the best way to put it.
Of creation. No, this is real specific. It's of creation, and it's Aarakocra.
Yeah. The wait. And I mean that's basically what it is. You draw your power from just the raw essence of magic.
Oh yeah, creation magic. That's why it's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
At first level, you get Wild Magic Surge. When immediately after you cast a sorcerer spell of first level or higher, the DM can have you roll a d20. If you roll a 1, you have to roll on the Wild Magic chart.
Ooh, we'll get to that later.
Which is all sorts of fun.
It is. Something very important here. You can request to the DM to do this at any time after you cast a spell. The DM doesn't have to tell you to do it.
Right.
And I'd have never met a DM that's like, no, let's just continue on.
Yeah, because wild magic is wild. It's so fun. Tides of Chaos, you also get at first level. You can manipulate the forces of chance and chaos to gain advantage on an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw. Once you do this, you have to finish a long rest before you can use this feature again.
The second part's my favorite.
However, anytime you roll on the Wild Magic chart, it resets your use of this feature. So, If you request it or if your DM has you roll on it all the time, then you have advantage on stuff constantly.
Especially if somebody's got the Wheaton curse, man, you're rolling d20s all the time.
Oh yeah, them ones though. 6th level, Bend Luck. You have the ability to twist fate using your wild magic. When another creature you can see makes an attack roll, an ability check, or saving throw, you can use your reaction and spend 2 sorcery points to roll a d4 and apply the number rolled as a bonus or penalty.
Who's Jewelry?
Jewelry.
Yeah, they said Jason has to use wild magic to land his girlfriend.
Oh. That's my friend Eric.
Yeah, that's a drop the mic moment, Eric. I like it.
He dropped his pacifier somewhere.
Controlled chaos, Jason.
Yes. That too. Okay.
It's Jewelry the way I'm reading it. Don't correct me.
Jewelry. Jew orally.
Probably that's. I almost said that, but I was trying to be a little bit more sensitive to my kosher audience.
14th level, Controlled Chaos. Whenever you roll on the Wild Magic Surge table, you roll twice and use either number. Gives you a little bit more control over what happens, but not much.
And then the only class I would ever go to the 18th level for.
Spell Bombardment. Harmful energy of your spells intensifies when you roll damage for a spell and roll the highest number possible on any of the dice. Choose one of those dice, roll it again, and add that roll to the damage. You can use this feature only once per turn.
Oh, yeah. It's like critting every time. Let's just get honest.
Yeah, because if you roll, say you're rolling a fireball, that's at 3rd level, it's 8d6. If you roll 8 6s, guess what? Whoosh, 8 more.
Exciting.
It is. It's retarded.
And
it's ridiculous.
I don't want you to go through the wild magic table. I want everybody to get the PHB and go to page 104 and read it for themselves because you were crack up. But I will tell you 2 stories off of this, and we will get moving into Warlock so Sweet can do all her talking. Yay. So one time I created this labyrinth, and it was so bad that I had to go back and remember how to get through it myself and draw a reminder line for myself. I took a whole page of graph paper and made a labyrinth out of it with only one way out. Because I'm evil. And the guys were going around, and I decided, man, that's kind of evil. They should find something. So I was going to give them a magic map that would beep where they are in the labyrinth and beep where they needed to go to get out of it. Or we would have been doing this for like 12 sessions. The minute that they were done with the fight, before the map was on the wall, the guy was playing Wild Magic, rolled a 1, rolled on it, and for the next, I think it was like 1 to 4 minutes, I can't remember, anything he touched burst into flames.
Oh.
And sure enough, I'm like, you guys see this piece of paper hanging on the wall. It looks like a map of the labyrinth. And who's the first person? I'm going to grab it.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's my buddy Dave. That's a shout out to you if you ever watch this, Dave. But here's the second thing, and I encourage this. Table rules are a lot of fun, and especially if you're playing a fun game. So what I mean by that is you're not recording for a podcast, and you're not an asshole DM that just wants everything to be super serious all the time. You can introduce this rule, and what this rule is anybody who rolls a 1 anytime they cast a spell has to go to the Wild Magic chart. It was a teachable moment, WC. But yes, and it's a fun one to do from everywhere from clerics to sorcerers and so on. So I just wanted to throw that out there because it's a lot of fun. So give me a scene of a warlock going into a battlefield, Sweet.
Oh, a scene.
Mm-hmm.
I see. All right. Well, I'll give you one of mine then. A 5 foot even Fire Genasi, a female with cobalt hair, cobalt skin, steps in the middle of the battlefield, and sees way down the other end this archer aiming at one of her party members, and she raises her staff and purple force of a force of her purple force comes down and strikes him with Eldritch Blast and hurts him, and he misses the shot on the wizard, and that's what I've done once. One of my DMs always says, what was it look like? It's like, okay, well, it's always purple because it's my favorite color.
And I put a warlock that's casting a purple spell for your picture on here.
Oh yes, see, awesome.
I did that on purpose. So warlocks, DMs. I'm just gonna start this off and then let Sweet do her thing. Warlocks are infused or have made a pact with, or unwillingly been unconscious around a demon that created a pact for them.
Mm-hmm.
So don't forget that warlocks are always in that battle between yin and yang.
Mm-hmm.
And that voice can be very productive to storylines. Or if you got a player like me as a DM, you don't have to worry about that because I play a schizophrenic player anyways. When I play my warlocks, because that's what it is. And that warlock is spending a lot of energy to hold back that demon so it doesn't overtake them. These are things that you need to put into your game because warlocks just don't have powers. They have things that affect them.
Yep.
Right.
And if you're not playing that, DMs and players, I'm going to shoot the DMs because you should have enough experience to know this, that your warlocks have that internal battle going on. So you need to play it out. You need to push it forward. You need to remember that it's there.
Mm-hmm. In my game, my warlock's god is very, very active. I mean, I've had this god do things. I've had this god suggest things to my player's character.
She's going down, people.
Whoa, sorry, breathing.
Oh man, you almost heard a live death right here on Stripping Down D&D.
I get so excited, guys, I couldn't breathe. And then
dragons again.
Make the god do an evil suggestion to my player's character, and have my player roll a wisdom save, see if he can not do that evil thing. And the more often he fails, the more difficult the things get, until eventually he might turn evil. But if he resists, the more he resists, the less the suggestions have a impact on him. So it depends on what he rolls, and I always have that battle going on. So I always have my warlock warlock's god be very, very active. As I mentioned, warlock is my favorite, one of my favorite classes, and I don't like when my god has no influence, because why do I have a god in my head? Why aren't I just a sorcerer or a wizard? Why am I a warlock? Like, I like my brain fucked with. Fuck with my brain, goddammit.
That sounds like a sexual position.
What was that?
It sounds like a sexual position.
Yes.
That's how draconic bloodline sorcerers are.
What do you want to do? Let's do the fuck my brain position.
And yeah, so I like that tug of no, I don't want to go over there and break that guy's leg. I roll. Oh, well, now I have to because I failed my. Of course, I always have like 10 strength. So I can't break the guy's leg, but hey, at least I can try, right? So yeah, that's what I love. I love warlock.
And why DMs hate it is because they get leather armor.
Yes, they do.
Stupid.
All right. So the first things you guys we get is pact magic. So so you decide on if you have what patron you have. The three in the book are Archfey, Fiend, and the Great Old One. And I'll go into these later, but it depends on which one you choose on what extra abilities you get. And then you get cantrips.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
we could slip all that except for the parts that's different with warlocks when it comes to spellcasting.
Right. I'm just going down the list. All right. So, just like sorcerer, charisma is the best spellcasting ability. All right. And you also get Eldritch Invocations, which I will go into later. And you get two of them at second level. And when you do gain more invocations, you are able to trade them out with another invocation that you can learn at that level. All right. Level 3. Actually, wait. So the pact magic. All right. So Archfey. The patron is a lord or lady of the Fae. The being's motivations are often inscrutable and whimsical, and maybe striving for settling old grudges. Beings of this sort include Prince of Frost, Queen of Air and Darkness, and so on. For every pact magic you choose, it gives you an expanded list of spells to choose from. Now, this is spells to choose from. You are not given this automatically.
Right.
I had a player argue with me that he got those automatically. No, you are able to choose from them, as if you do in the list of warlock spells.
Right. That's all. It adds those additional spells to the warlock spell list. Unlike a cleric and paladin who gain those additional spells from their oath or their domain automatically, in addition to their spell selection. It just adds them to your spell list selection.
All right. So I'm gonna go through Archfey real quick. Archfey.
Whoa, wait, we're that far already?
No. I haven't gone into the pact wound yet.
Oh, the only thing I wanted to say about spellcasting is the difference between warlocks and everybody is you get less spell slots, but you get your spell slots back on short rest, where everybody else has to take a long one.
Right.
Correct.
And your spells, as you level up, you have the same. All your spell slots are the same level.
Right.
So, for first and second level, they're first. For third and fourth, they're second level spell slots. Your slots will always be the maximum castable spell level for your level.
And if you're casting a spell that doesn't have an increased level, you're just using a spell slot. Because when he says 2, you get 2, not 2 in level 1 and 2 in level 2. 2. Right. Out of all your spells, you have that many spell slots. So every time you cast a spell, no matter what level you're casting it at, you lose that spell slot.
Right. Warlocks are very light on spell slots, but very high on spell level slots. And they get them back on a short rest, like you said. So they, unlike the other casters, you constantly renew your slots. Every time you take a short rest. So you can go into a fight, short rest. Go into a fight, short rest, and you can just constantly recover yours. Whereas all the other casters, you can only take a long rest once every 24 hours. So you have to pick and choose a little more carefully on when you use your spell slots because you can only get them back once a day.
So sorry, I just didn't want to skip over that one. Sweet.
All right. No worries. All right, no worries. I didn't even think about it, to be honest. So yeah, just a reminder that a short rest is 1 hour. So just a reminder for that.
Unless your DM plays on different rules.
Right. Yes. One of mine goes 15 minutes. I was like, hey, I'm good with that.
Yeah, I do 30.
But the rules do say 1 hour. So unless your DM says otherwise. All right. So again, I'm doing Archfey. Starting at level 1. Your patron bestows upon you the ability to project beguiling and person presence. As an action, you can cause each creature in a 10-foot cube originating from you to make a Wisdom saving throw against your Warlock spell save DC, which is 8 plus proficiency plus charisma. The creatures that fail the saving throw are all charmed or frightened by you, your choice, till the end of your next turn. If you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. So that is Fey Presence. Misty Escape. Starting at 6th level, you can vanish a puff of mist in response to harm. When you take damage, you can use your reaction to turn invisible and teleport up to 60 feet in an unoccupied space you can see. You remain invisible until the start of your next turn or until you attack or cast a spell. And it says it's in the low one. You use it.
Yeah, to clarify this too, because I've had this so many arguments. You have to take the damage before you can use it. This is not a reaction.
Right.
Yes, it's a response to harm.
Right.
Right.
Where a reaction is something's coming, I'm going to react to it.
Yes.
Yeah, it does use your reaction, but you still take the full damage from the attack.
Let's see. Beguiling Defenses, Valiant level 10. Your patron teaches you how to turn the mind-affecting magic of your enemies against them. You're immune to being charmed.
Hold on. Sorry about that. I'm having plug-in problems. I ordered a new one. It's on its way, I promise.
Alright. Let's see. Another creature attempts to charm you. You can use a reaction to attempt to turn the charm back on that creature. The creature must succeed on a Wisdom saving throw against your Warlock spell save DC, or be charmed for you until 1 minute, or until the creature takes any damage. So that's any damage, not just damage by your opponent, by your allies. Dark Delirium, start at level 14. You can plunge a creature into an illusory realm. As an action, choose a creature that you can see within 60 feet of you. They must make a Wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, it is charmed or frightened by you, your choice, for 1 minute, or until the concentration is broken. This effect ends early. A creature takes any damage. Until this illusion ends, the creature thinks it's lost in a misty realm, the appearance of which you choose. The creature can see and hear only itself, you, and the illusion. Right, so that is the Scottish Fae.
Oh, can we get your evil laugh? I've always wanted to hear your evil laugh, sweet.
I don't really have one. Every time I try, my friend says that it's not evil, and he says that my actual laugh is more evil than my evil laugh.
So you can't.
I can try. Let me just get there. I just can't do it. I mean, I have it, but it just yeah.
I see the problem because you started off strong.
I just laughed.
But then you found that it was funny, and you did.
See, this is my issue. I think I'm far too giggly to have a good evil laugh.
All right.
My friend says that my regular laugh is more evil than anything I try to do on purpose. All right. So the Fiend, you have made a pact with a fiend from the lower planes of existence, a being whose aims are evil, even if you strive against these aims. Such beings desire corruption and destruction of all things, including you. Fiends power enough to forge a pact includes demon lords such as Demogorgon.
The Demogorgon! Stranger Things season 2. They're not sponsoring us yet, but I want them to.
Asmodeus. I just call him Bell. But Belial, is it? And,
nope. Bell and Belial are two different.
Really? Good to know. Okay. All right.
I was going to say, I don't remember Bell being on any of the Warlock lists.
Okay. Okay.
Bell is, just for lore purposes, Bell is the former ruler of the first layer of Hell, Avernus, and he is the advisor to the current ruler of Avernus, and he is the warlord of the layer of the first Hell.
And
Good to know.
more importantly, if you play in any of the Adora realms at your home games, you're taking after some of our Adora stuff. A certain couple of players of mine decided to destroy Hell. So
Hmm. Well, I met Belle in a game, and I was like, hey, I like this. All right, moving on. All right, so again, they do get the fiend also gets a different expanded spells, and that's on page 109. All right, so Dark One's Blessing. Start at level 1. When you reduce a hostile creature to 0 hit points, you gain temporary hit points equal to your Prism modifier plus your Warlock level, minimum of 1. All right, Dark One's Own Luck. Starting at 6th level, you can call on your patron to alter fate in your favor. When you make an ability check or a saving throw, you can use this feature to add a d10 to your roll. You can do so after seeing the initial roll, but before any of the roll's effects occur. Once you use a feature, you cannot use it again until you finish a short or long rest. Venus Resilience. Start at level 10. You can choose one damage type when you finish a long or short rest. You gain resistance at that type until you choose a different one with this feature. Damage from magical weapons or silver weapons, ignore this resistance. Hurl Through Hell. Start level 14. When you hit a creature with an attack, you can use this feature to instantly teleport target through the lower planes. The creature disappears and hurtles through a nightmarish landscape. At the end of your next turn, target returns to a space previously occupied or the nearest unoccupied space. If the target is not a fiend, it takes 10d10 psychic damage. Nice. As it reels from its horrific experience. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again. Do you finish a long or a long rest?
Long rest.
Long rest. All right. So,
and the default, everybody's a warlock. This is the one they choose. One is
Cthulhu.
Yes, you got me. My favorite is the Great Old One. I love it because of the telepathy skills. Your patron is a mysterious entity whose nature is utterly foreign to public reality. It might come from the far realm, space beyond reality, or it could be one of the elder gods known only in legends. Its motives are incomprehensible to mortals, and its knowledge so immense and ancient that even the greatest libraries pale. The Great Old One might be unaware of your existence or entirely indifferent, but the secrets you have learned allow you to draw magic from it. Entities of this type include the Chain God, Cthulhu, the Night Serpent, Zargon, and they give a list of those. And again, the expanded spell list. All right, so this is why I love, by the way, love, Great Old One is Awakened Mind. At level 1, your alien knowledge gives you the ability to touch the minds of other creatures. You can communicate telepathically with any creature you can see within 30 feet of you. You don't need to share a language with the creature for it to understand you. The creature must be able to understand at least one language. I have used this so much to just F with everybody. I love it.
Basically, they have to have an intelligence of like 2 to understand a language.
4.
So unless they're a rock, okay, 4. Unless they're a rock like Doc, then they're gonna know what you're saying.
What?
Huh?
What?
I thought
It's this is all Christopher Knox's fault. I'm trying. Shut up, you wuss.
What?
all right.
Stop messing with my power cord, Knox.
All right. So, Entropic Ward. At 6th level, you learn to magically ward yourself against an attack and turn enemy's failed strike into good luck for yourself. When a creature makes an attack roll against you, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on that roll. If the attack misses you, your next attack to roll against the creature has an advantage. Make it before the end of your next turn. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. Thought Shield. I killed a Mind Flare with this, by the way.
Wait, is this what I think it is? Thought.
Thought Shield.
Somebody got it. Thank you, Jason.
I did not, so over my head it went.
Go to Urban Dictionary, type in THOT.
No, thank you. I'll pass on that and keep reading. Starting at 10th level, your thoughts can't be read by telepathy of other means unless you allow it. You also have resistance to psychic damage, and whenever a creature does psychic damage to you, creature takes the same amount of damage that you do. I defeated a mind. No, I said it and then that confused me. A mind flare with this, and that was the end of game.
Apparently, you didn't defeat that Mind Flayer if you can't remember Mind Flayer.
No, see, I had it, and then you confused me, and I said it, and like, you know.
If she starts saying stuff like, we have to obey the Elder Brain, I'm out, man. Just saying, I'm out.
No. And by the way, that was the end of the campaign. Everyone was so mad that I killed it. Like, you know, we got down to so low, and then it just did that, and Speak killed it, and it's not fair. They were all very happy with me. It's like, I can't help it, guys. Anyway, create thrall. At 14th level, you gain the ability to infect a humanoid's mind with alien magic or your patron. You can use your action to touch an incapacitated humanoid. The creature is then charmed by you until a remove curse spell is cast on it. The charm condition is removed for it, or use this feature again. You can communicate telepathically with the charmed creature as long as the two of you are on the same plane of existence. So I never got that far, by the way.
Okay.
So
I want to touch on some of the Eldritch invocations. You can read them on your own. Again, Player's Handbook, page 110. They start. But some of the ones that aren't used enough, that is me as a DM would love to see you have for role-playing purposes. So, everybody takes Agonizing Blast. I don't know why. Probably because it's the first one.
I never do.
Where is
Extra damage to Eldritch Blast. That's why they take it. Because everybody plays Blast Locks.
Blast.
Again, I shake my head and say I don't, but moving on.
Beast Speech always cracks me up.
Let's see.
Eyes of the Runekeeper. Gosh darn it, if you don't use that, you're just setting the DM up to give you warnings that you can't read and kill you later.
Yes, that's one of my go-to ones. Is so Eyes of the Runekeeper is you can read all writing, which he complained about but didn't actually tell you guys what it was. You can read all writing. So I usually choose that one and Devil's Sight. So those two are two that I like. And if I already have Dark Vision, like in my Fire Genasi, then I usually go for Beguiling Influence, because you have proficiency in Deception and Persuasion skills.
Right.
And Devil's Sight is you can see normally in darkness, both magical and non-magical, for a distance of 120 feet.
That is one of the best ones.
Yep,
Yeah.
because it gives you the longest dark vision in the game, and it penetrates magical darkness. So if somebody throws a darkness spell up, it's not going to bother you. You can throw your own darkness spell up and then sit right in the middle of it and cast out of it, and nobody can do anything because they can't see you.
Full coverage. The only thing I do with that is melee can swing at disadvantage. And sometimes I make them do half damage.
Yeah.
I'm not that mean to my Sunday night group, though.
No, not at all. 2 dark manels and 3 people.
Onward to Wizards!
Oh,
All right.
Wizards.
All right. So all right. So starting at level 3, you get the Packed Boons.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you did skip over that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, the Packed Magic is level 1.
I've been drinking.
So Packed Boons. At 3rd level, your otherworldly patron bestows a gift upon you for your loyal service. You gain one of the following features of your choice. Pact of the Chain. You learn the Find Familiar spell and cast it as a ritual. The spell does not count against your number of spells known. When you cast a spell, you can choose one of the normal forms of it for your familiar, or one of the following special forms: Imp, Pseudo-Dragon, how do you say that, Quasit? Or
Quasit.
Sprite.
You're right. Quasit.
Okay.
And by the way, if you're looking for a cool variant familiar, that's the one you want. Because, no, I want a crow. Guess what your Quasit could do? He can become a crow.
Additionally, when you take the attack action, you can forego one of your own attacks to allow your familiar to make an attack of its own. So that is Pact of the Chain.
Yay.
Pact of the Blade, you can use your action to create a packed weapon in your empty hand. You can choose the form that this melee weapon takes each time you create it. You're proficient with it while you wield it. The weapon counts as magical for the purpose of overcoming resistance and immunity to non-magical attacks and damage.
Pact
It
of Tone.
disappears if it's more than 5 feet away from you for 1 minute or more. It disappears if you use the feature again, or if you dismiss it, or if you die. You can transform one magic weapon into your pack weapon by performing a special ritual, which you hold the weapon. You perform the ritual over the course of 1 hour, and it can be done during a short rest.
You know why they changed that, Jason, to if you're dying, that it goes away?
No, actually, I don't.
So many people rage quit D&D. Just throw the
'cause-
table and run out because the DM will have something go over there, pick up their pack weapon, and coup de grace them with them.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, the Pact of the Blade? That's what we were talking about earlier. Because you could be a melee. Now, this is the only time that I agree with the leather armor thing. You can actually be a melee warlock. It's pretty badass, too. It's definitely more of a veteran feature. You really have to understand how your spells work and everything, but it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are a warlock rogue, you can use this as your sneak weapon.
Stupid.
Which gets really powerful if you use the Pact Blade invocation. But okay, so Pact of the Tome, which yes, again is my favorite. Patron gives you a grimoire called Book of Shadows. When you gain this feature, choose 3 cantrips from any class's spell list. While the book is on your person, you can cast those cantrips at will. They don't cast against other cantrips known. If you lose your Book of Shadows, you can perform a 1-hour ceremony to receive a replacement. The ceremony can be performed against a short or long rest and destroys the previous book. The book turns to ashes when you die. So I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
So it says choose 3 cantrip from any class's spell list. Now, do you see that? So if I choose one cantrip from, say, the cleric spell list, and then choose a cantrip through the wizard one, and a cantrip through the bard one, or does it all have to be the same class's spell list?
Here's how I'm going to say this. When you talk raw, the rules is written. Yes, you can choose them 3 from different ones all you want all day long. But at the end of the day, the DM's always right.
Yeah. As written, it doesn't matter what spell list they come from, just as long as you pick 3.
And again, if the DM says no, you got to pick them from the same one. DMs limit people when they think that you're getting to a point when you're overpowering yourself to the rest of the group.
Mm-hmm.
They're not trying to be mean. They're trying to make sure that everybody has fun.
Right.
This is not a side-scrolling adventure video game where you sit down by yourself and you play your one player running across the screen, killing everything, which that's what min-maxing's for. This game is role-playing. There is no winning D&D. There is...
They're surviving.
There's not even really surviving, because anytime the DM wants, you're dead. So watch how much you push the DM, because the DM wants to have fun too. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. I've seen them push way too hard with some DMs. I'll push, but in a lot of funny ways. Mostly because I'm joking around, or I don't like the way they changed the rule. And I'll give you an example where I push a lot. My DMs know this about me. When they changed it so that it doesn't matter which way something's looking. So it used to be if you came up behind something, you can literally any class get a sneak attack without the sneak attack damage and get advantage. Now it doesn't work like that anymore.
Right.
Or if you try to get away from something, if it's attacking something in front of it, most DMs would let you run away from the rear, or the way the rules were written is they couldn't see you. It used to not be a circle. It used to be like this peripheral thing.
Yeah.
A disc. I dislike that very much because the player's handbook says if the target can see you, and I will argue that it cannot see me because it has eyes in the front of its head, not behind.
But
Unless-
there is no facing in D&D.
That's my problem. There used to be facing in D&D.
They used to be.
And when there was facing, the battles were a lot more, I think they were a lot more fun. Yes, they took longer, but they were a lot more fun.
They were a lot more strategic because you had to depending on your class and your role, you had to position yourself in a certain place in order to be the most effective. Whereas now it doesn't matter. You can it doesn't matter because if you're within visible range, they can see you. It doesn't matter if you're standing in front of them or behind them, they can see you.
And there's good and bad to this. It used to be that the rogue would only get the advantage if it was flanking.
Backstab.
Yeah, flanking. And when it was flanking, it had to be behind. Now, you're within 5 feet, you get that advantage.
All right. So back to warlocks. All right. So that is level 3. Warlocks. All right. So level 4 is of course the abilities for improvements. All right. So at 11th level, this is Mystic Arcanium, and 11th level, your patron bestows upon you a magical secret called Arcanium. Choose one 6th level spell from the Warlock spell list as Arcanium. You can cast your Arcanium spell once without spending a spell slot. You must finish a long rest before you can do it again. At higher levels, you gain more Warlock spells of your choice that can be cast this way. Alright. And then 20th level, Eldritch Master. You can draw on your inner reserve a mystical power while entreating your patron to regain benefit spell slots. You can spend 1 minute entreating your patron for aid to regain all your spell slots from your Pact Magic feature. Once you gain spell slots with this feature, you must finish a long rest before you can do so again.
And as far as the Mystic Arcanum goes, as a warlock, you can only cast up to 5th level spells without the Arcanum feature. The Arcanum gives you your 6, 7, 8, and 9th level spells, and they are you get one spell per slot. So you have to choose very wisely with those spells because that's it. You get one.
Did we make it through?
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's warlock.
I'm only asking because I've been drinking, not reading. There's a difference.
The into warlocks. Next we have
Wizards, and I'll be quiet again because
Wizards.
Okay.
Wizards are your Jedi. They believe in learning about power and working with it. Like I said before, it's like taking a cup of water and drinking it regularly and letting just the liquid flow instead of sucking it through a straw.
Yeah, your wizards, like we said earlier, your sorcerers gain magic through their blood. They are, in essence, they are magical creatures and mythological essence. Wizards, they get their magical abilities through study. And whereas warlocks get theirs through their pact with some sort of powerful being and study as well. But wizards are strictly through study of magic. First level, they get their spell casting. Their ability modifier is intelligence, and they get arcane recovery, where you can regain some of your spell slots during a short rest just by studying your spell book during that time. You can choose expended spell slots that have a combined level equal to or less than half your wizard level, but nothing higher than 5th level. and you can do that once. It's once a day per short rest, so it's only one time a day. Arcane traditions. That's your specialization. These are the different schools of magic that you specialize in. Each one has their own features. The one thing all of the schools have in common is at second level, when you take your arcane tradition, the cost of if you find a spell scroll, the cost to put it into your spell book is half the cost and half the time of a spell that's not of your specialized school. That's the same across the board for all the traditions. The ability score increases as normal. Spell mastery. Choose a. This is at 18th level. You choose a first level wizard spell and a second level wizard spell that you have in your spell book, and you can cast those at their lowest level without spending a spell slot. So they essentially cast like cantrips.
Yay!
And by spending 8 hours or a long rest and study, you can exchange the spells that you choose for your spell mastery.
So that's the boring version. Why don't you explain what that means?
What that means is you specialize in certain spells. Like, and again, at 20th, it's because it's the same thing at 20th, only it's third level, 2 third level spells as your signature spells, like Fireball, or for spell mastery, it's first and second level, like Magic Missile. You can just sit there and Magic Missile spam all day long without expending a spell slot, and people do that. So, I mean, that's what it is. You don't. Whereas if you cast it normally without this feature, every time you cast it, it's cost you a spell slot. With this feature, it's a free cast. You just sit there and spam it every round if you want to, and not worry about using up all your spell slots.
Did you say spam?
I said spam.
Spam, 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 spam. It's glorious. Spam, 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 spam.
And like I said, at 20th level, it's signature spells, 2 third level wizard spells in your spell book as your signature spell. You always have them prepared. They don't count against the number of spells you have prepared, and can cast each of them once at third level without expending a spell slot. So, like Fireball. Pretty much everybody, if they hit 20th level, takes Fireball.
I hope they have it before they hit 20th level.
Well, I mean, as their signature spell.
Oh, okay. I'm just checking.
The arcane traditions are ridiculous. There's one for each school of magic. Abjuration.
Please read through them before you pick them. As a DM, I really want you to know what you're getting into.
Yeah. There's
everybody gets in there is like, oh, I'm gonna go for necromancy, and then they're like, well, I don't understand why it's not giving me more damage.
Yeah, necromancy is not about doing more damage. It's about having pets. It's about having minions. That's what it is.
And it's nice. It's nice to have somebody around who has a forgery kit who could forge you to have permits to have those dead people with you in towns too.
Yeah, because some DMs will do that. And they'll charge you fines or lock you up and forget the key and yeah. But yeah, make sure you read these because the difference between each school is huge. And
I really don't want to just read through them. So
yeah,
because there's a lot.
There's one for each school, and there's what 1, 2, 3,
3, 4, 5. I think there's 5 per.
Yeah, well, not including the savant, which is the same across the board. There's 4 additional features for each school, and there's 8 schools of magic.
Yeah, there's a lot, people. Just read it.
Yeah, these are really self-explanatory.
We could do that real quick. So abjuration. I always say it wrong. Abjuration. Those are your protection spells.
Yeah, your protection and buff spells.
And conjuration, just what it sounds like. It's making friends without having to kill people.
Yeah, summoning creatures.
Divination. You could be Professor, whatever her name, Trelawney. I've been drinking. J.K. Rowling, if you see this, do not get mad at me. I've been drinking. But like it's and it's not like seeing the future. It's a clear understanding of things. I think is the best way. I think is the way of the book actually.
Right. It's discernment, remote viewing, supernatural knowledge, and there are some that give foresight, but it basically the foresight ones allow you to essentially rewind time.
Enchantment. That's always a good one too. Just what it sounds like is making things a little bit more powerful around you.
Yep.
Evocation. That's usually the one people want when they pick necromancy. That's your attack spell stuff.
Yeah. Evocation. That's pretty much all. If pretty much all your attack spell, your big attack spells like Fireball, Magic Missile, all the staples that everybody takes come from the school of evocation.
Illusion is making imaginary friends.
Basically, the only kind that I have.
The cool part about illusion isn't illusion the one where, like, at a certain level, anything that you can make it real as well.
Yes, at 14th level, illusory reality.
That one's cool. Necromancy, like we said, making undead friends.
Because everybody needs a little death in their life.
Transmutation, making something it was not before.
Yeah, turning iron or lead into gold.
Yeah, that's your alchemy at its rawest form. So if you know that going into it, it'll give you a little bit more about what you want to do. And wizards are a lot of fun.
Yep.
The cool thing about wizards is you could just be that upturned nose scholarly person who is so disgusted by attacks and killing.
Yeah.
Oh.
And wizards, if you're as far as spellcasters go, have the biggest list of spells available to them.
Yeah, if you buy the cards, I have all the little card decks, and the reason I have them as a DM is because sometimes I'm a player and I'd like a quick reference, because even though I own a player's handbook, it's a pain in the butt to keep flipping through it. So I either make a print-off sheet of all the spells on it, or I have all the cards and I can pick them out and put them in sleeves.
Yeah, like the deck for like a warlock or something of the other casters is like this. A wizard is like this,
and it's too. So I have them all. So most of them are like a deck of cards. Your monks, your paladins. I think your clerics is a little bit bigger. And what the bigger ones are is they're like 2 decks of cards put together. The one for wizards is like 6 decks of cards, 3-on-3 put up with each other.
Yeah, wizards have an insane amount of spells, and they get access to the most powerful spell in the game also, which is Wish.
Yeah, so if you are playing a caster type, a couple things that you might want to get into, and we'll talk about this more in depthly, is you want to learn how rituals work.
Yeah. Rituals.
Trelawney's. Thank you. Thank you, sweet. You should never walk away.
I can't help it. Nature calls.
I didn't walk away. I have to pee. I've been holding it. Wizards or most of them have some kind of ritual book that they can have. And the cool thing about having a ritual book is if your DM's cool, you might, when you defeat a druid, find a druid ritual book. So guess what you could do? Cast those druid rituals.
Yep. What a ritual is it allows you to cast one of your spells as long as it has the ritual tag associated with it for free at a prolonged cast time. Yeah,
you gotta get down and do it.
And like some of them, most of them I think it's a 10-minute cast time for the spell. but it doesn't use a spell slot, which is good, especially if you're like a warlock, which has very limited spell slots. Use some of your ritual caster or as the feat, or as you do, just cast it as a ritual, and you save the spell slots, but you still get the benefits of the spell.
So I have my sorcerer here. So one thing that I've done is I've taken the spells that I always have for her, and I printed them out in sheets that I connected, so I have a quick reference. But so far, she's defeated a wizard and a druid that had spell books, so I created spell books. And what I have in here are the rituals that I know, and I also put down the other ones that I could learn. Just quick reference stuff. If we ever come across a scroll or something, my character would know automatically if they had to because they took notes. So that covered all the casters in an hour and a half. Congratulations, you two. If I can I'm going to add one thing right now. So if we would all just listen. It might start off a little loud, but that's because that's the way my stuff is. I cannot control that sometimes, people. It's mostly Jason's fault.
It is.
But I'd like you guys to check out the Watch Your Mouth podcast.
There are several ways to raise money for a good cause. Some do it by running marathons. Some host high-dollar dinners. And some just do it by clever interneting. We here at the Watch Your Mouth podcast employ a different approach. Wall-to-wall, filthy fucking language.
Go to a grocery store, I'm like, I know exactly what I need. I get in there, I'm like, yeah, the f*** did I even come here for?
With our charity swear jar, every fucked up utterance from our unfettered gobs is a dime in the right direction.
The motherfucker's a mouth breather.
Gaming, movies, life musings, it's all here. Served on a bed of fucks and garnished with a crown of...
Shut the f*** up!
How the fuck did we get here?
F*** all that.
Goddamn a jelly bean.
So if you want to hear us do good things with bad words, check out the Watch Your Mouth podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Facebook, or online at wympodcast.com. And remember, swearing is caring, so watch your mouth.
So those are our friends over at the Watch Your Mouth podcast. This season, they call them seasons when they split them up. They are raising money for Fisher House. So I encourage you to spread the word and get people listening to them and help them with their donations. They have a way that you can donate and let them know that it was coming from you listening to their podcast. You can also do it anonymously and still give the podcast credit. But they do great things over there. So
Yeah.
So before we go out, Sweet, do you have anything you want to talk about?
Nope.
You know, we have Menkoya, we have a podcast, we do this every Thursday night. You sure there's nothing you want to talk about?
Be here next week.
Jason, what do you got?
All right, come check us out Sundays right here on the Bros and Dragons Twitch stream channel, where it's Sunday at 7 Central. See, I got the time right. Only took 8 weeks.
9 sessions, but who's counting?
Where you'll see Doc DMing for me, Mike, Dave, and whoever else is there for that week. And while we run around and do completely dumb shit in Doc's homebrew world.
Yes, they mess up my world. I would like to start off by saying something that's not Bros and Dragons related, but Bros and Dragons related. Everybody sees Durfail in the chat. He's been chatting tonight. He is a actually good friend of ours and friend of the company. Christopher Knox, who it's March. So May 6th is doing a 24-hour stream to raise money. And again, he raises money for veteran events, or I think he's looking to expand. So if you know of some, shoot him his way. And if you want to see weird things like... and I don't even know why I'm admitting this, but me on video learning to belly dance. You want to see the other guys from the podcast learning to belly dance? Yes, his mom convinced me to do that. He also is going to have things like, from Bros and Dragons, after he raises $100, we're going to do a random drawing of everybody who's donated money. One of those people will get a Bros and Dragons dice bag that I was talking about earlier. At $500, I will be giving away the new Yawning Portal book that from Bros and Dragons for one person up to that point that was going on. And we're trying to work it out so that one of the cast members from the podcast may or may not get tased if he doubles what he made last year on video for everybody. Not that 24-hour stream, but it will go up so everybody can see it. Believe it or not, the hardest part is just finding a police department and to do it safely. That's what kind of what we wanted.
See, I wouldn't even bother with the safety issue. I just tase a motherfucker.
Well, we talked about it, but those hand tasers, you know, the ones where the electricity goes from bar to bar, those are super dangerous. Like, those can cause permanent damage, and I don't want to permanently damage any of my players ever for real in real life. So, but check him out because he's going to be playing games. He'll be doing group stuff. If you donate enough money, I think he's doing events like you get to come in and play the game with him, or they're going to do other things, etc., etc., etc. It usually is a very huge event with gifts that are nerdy to things that are not so nerdy. I think last year there was scarves that were donated. There were pictures. There were other things like that. This year I'm trying to help him out. I've been tapping into the people I know in the bigger companies, which I'm not going to mention those names until I lock them down, mostly because I want them to be able to say no and not feel like I pushed them into a corner. So we wanted to get that. So May 6th, you can go over to his. We will be sponsoring it. So if you don't know where his channel is, which his name, Derfael, Derfael, will be the channel name, you can always come to the Bros and Dragons. For those 24 hours, we will not be doing anything. If we do have stuff that we catch that ends up being a Saturday thing that is twitched, we will shut it down for that day. He has access to our channel for 24 hours because of his event. So go out to that. $500 valued stained glass donated for giveaway for donations over $400. So you get put into the raffle for that, I think. Yeah, he's got a ton of stuff. We'll get with him and have that up somewhere. Maybe I'll put it on the Bros and Dragons Incorporated Facebook page and then push it out from there, a link so you can check out what he's doing. Of course, we have the Bros and Dragons podcast. You can find that anywhere you download podcast or go to www.brosanddragons.com and check it out there. We are building a website, but right now it just goes to the RSS feed so that you can get it there. As always, from everybody in Bros and Dragons Incorporated, everybody here from Stripping Down DMD that's streaming with me today, which is sweet. And Jason, thank you for coming. Hopefully Tom was sick tonight, and I hope he feels better and gets back into the saddle with this. Tom is, I don't know what you call him, a something Marine. He's a Marine. And when he got out, there were some problems associated with that, and he fights those. But he still comes back after he's done fighting them to do Stripping Down D&D, and we thank him very much for that and hope to see him back. But, as always, I am DM Doc. You can find me on Twitter at I am DM Doc. You can find me on Facebook at I am DM Doc. Remember to keep it nerdy and live your dreams. I'll leave it up for a second because he just put... Why you gotta wait until I'm doing my outro, mofo? So you can always find this video on YouTube and just check out that link. So again, keep it nerdy and live your dreams. Later.
Bye.